Okay, so I'm gonna demo um, again, uh, just to illustrate what we're after for this week. Okay, so when we tackle this problem, this is gonna be crucial that you form these habits. You know, we build our habits with doing movements, long lines, angular lines. We're working with a building block, right? We started first week um, practicing that, and you can practice that, you know, forever. As long as you're doing art, you can practice those things. And the second part is just as crucial. I'm looking at an image over here, and the image that I have, I'm not sure which one it is exactly, but it's basically the comb is right here, and there's the sphere here, and you got the cube right over here, and then you got the other cylinder right here. So, um, so I'm just looking over there, and I can see, what it is, and so the goal is for you to make angular lines and to block in, right? We're gonna block in, right? And we're gonna create the outer shape. We're gonna create angles throughout to do proportions, because how do I know how big this is, right? Maybe when I compare lines like this, then I know. Okay, so your goal is to really just, go like this, right? You're creating an envelope, right? First, right? So I create an envelope, and then I go in and I start chiseling, like almost like hacking, right? Like these shapes from within this image, right? And so don't stop where the form stops here. So in other words, if there's a sphere here, don't stop this line. Just keep going. This line as well. Like, in other words, I'm going to continue this line just so I know where this cylinder sits, okay? And so maybe this cylinder sits kind of over here, okay? And when I look at this line, if I go straight out, right, it's gonna tell me where this is. So if I'm making a reference to the image with my eyes or by some other means, I know where things are. So here's the other shape. It's right here, right? And I'm just sort of using this system to help me figure out where things are, how big things are. It doesn't have to be super clear at this point. I know for yesterday's we did, I said, okay, try to darken up the lines around your shapes, but what I'm seeing so far, I want you guys to really practice like this thing, right? Like this, 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 um, this, okay? And try to keep your lines light. Try to keep your hand movement going. My tool is somewhat sharpened, but I could sharpen it a little bit more as it dulls out. So I can see the negative shape around shapes, right? You can work with the shape, but you gotta have that understructure really going like bananas, right? You gotta have all your angular stuff there. Okay, so where things are exactly, I'm not sure. Like, is it this line? Is it this line? I could go back and maybe try to erase things, but don't get caught up so much with erasing at this point, especially with the compressed charcoal. It's not really even meant to be erased so much, right? So it's a really, it's sticky stuff. Once it gets onto the paper, it's really hard. So, but work light, you should have like a lot of lines, right? I mean, you should have like I said, like I'm trying to figure out, okay, where's this sphere? No round lines, all angular, right? Because as I was telling you guys, if I try to make a circle, it's much harder than if I started out with a line drawing and then I cut that and then I just kept cutting it, right? I get closer to a circle with straighter lines. This is a kind of a weird example, but you get it. In other words, I can make straighter lines to get to precision faster than this. So we're going to practice both, but right now I just want you to stick with, this stuff. The other thing I'll just say is that if you're working right hand, you should be standing on this side of the easel or the pad. You can be here, that's fine, but you shouldn't be like this, right? This is kind of awkward. You want to be comfortable. You want to have this range of motion. Your shoulders should be nice and like free. So stand to your advantage, right? And it's going to help you make longer lines. I can't really make long lines if I'm like this or some other weird thing. I can feel the tension sort of building up in my shoulder. So stay like if you're a lefty, obviously you'll be on the other side. Okay, so give yourself the advantage, the ergonomical advantage, to make the motion with ease. Okay, so today we're going to practice this more and more, and you're also going to start to include some of the shadow as well. So in other words, maybe there are more angles for the shadow. So I'm just going to draw this, which I don't expect you guys to do, but so in other words, this is what I'm after, right? All right, so here are the shapes that should be coming out, right? Right, something like that. I'm just outlining it for you guys, right? You guys can see, and all these things should have comparison points. Where's the bottom of this? If I go straight across, it's here, right? So anyway, hope that made sense.